You're listening to Black and Blue in Red America. Welcome to Black and Blue in Red America, everybody. I'm Seth Sturm.
And I'm Marianne Clater.
How are you, Marianne?
Do you want to hear about elderly people's problems?
No, I personally don't, and I can't imagine that anyone else does.
That's what I
either.
figured. That's what's wrong with your generation. You don't care about other people's problems if it doesn't affect you.
Well, yes, I do. I totally do. I'm a Democrat after all. We're the party of working people, of caring people. We're the ones with heart and soul.
So when's the last time you visited anybody that was sick in the hospital and people who have been in prison?
Anyway, the Democratic debate is coming up.
Is that just a Christian thing, that I do?
Well, it is not just a Christian thing. I assume that plenty of
checking.
Muslims do it as well, Marianne. Don't be Islamophobic on our first episode.
I'm just checking since you said Democrat.
But in seriousness, tonight is the Democratic debate in California. Who do you think the black voters are supporting right now?
Joe Biden.
Why do you think that is?
Now, I didn't say this black voter. I was just saying. Now, probably younger black voters will be more leaning towards probably Bernie Sanders.
Well, I know that Bernie Sanders is polling number one with black women 18 to 35.
Yes, that's what I would think. But I think that, say, like in my house, whoever I decide, which right now I'm just, like I told you, I don't want to, I don't like getting very excited and then my person would drop out or something. So I just want to wait until we find out who exactly is running. Plus, I concentrate a lot on local politics more than you're more about the national, because I'm a believer in one person, it's not going to be able to do everything that we need to do that is important to get the right people in the Congress, the right people in the legislature, things like that. So, even during the Obama era, I wasn't, running around. Woo! I'm just so excited because I really didn't think life was going to change for me.
That's kind of the thing that I come from with this Trump impeachment hearing. Personally, I'm excited to see him being impeached, whatever. But I know my life isn't going to change. I know they're not going to remove him. And in fairness, my life hasn't changed that much from the Obama years. I know there's millions of people whose lives have been affected, but mine personally hasn't been.
Well, I just, unless you're in certain industries at certain times, I don't think most average citizens' lives don't really change unless they start messing with health care and food stamps, things like that, because most people, like for me, I'm not concerned. So my retirement, when I am able to retire, we probably should give some background, I guess, people who are new to the show about me, that I was an auditor for 22 years and that my son came down with an unknown neurological disease that has paralyzed him from the neck down. So I quit my job and I wasn't old enough to do retirement. And one of the things that's very disturbing is that I won't have my insurance. I'm on my husband's insurance, which was the same insurance. Because he works for a municipality. So the insurance that's available is the same, the employer base. And we'll have some discussions about insurance on down the road. We can't get to all of our topics in one.
We don't want to be on for 8 hours.
Oh, shoot. It would take us hours and hours of discussions about all the things that we have experienced with the healthcare industry. But so I'm now on my husband's insurance, and when I get old enough to retire, I'll be able to draw out my retirement from working for the state of West Virginia. And it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy how you really, until things start affecting you personally, you really don't have, it's always have, some people probably have an understanding, but you have more of an understanding once it affects you personally. So my retirement is, I guess it is indirectly tied to the stock market, but I'm not, I know I'm going to be guaranteed unless the state of West Virginia goes under, Unlike some employers, when they file bankruptcy, then, well, unless we get some crazy legislatures in there that decide to want to do something crazy with people's retirement. So I guess that could happen because, they do some very selfish things sometimes in legislatures when they're not thinking of just the reason that the law was changed. And that's the reason that I will not be able to receive insurance benefits because I have made money while I was away from the state. So if I had decided to, I guess, divorce my husband and get welfare benefits or something while I take care of my son, then when I retire, I would still get my insurance. But because I decided to make money, because you can't have another employer, I've decided I'll probably end up trying to fight it because technically I am my own employer. So we'll see how it works out when I get 62, but I got a lot of time before I can get 62. I wish it wasn't that much, so I could be sitting home eating bonbons like everybody thinks or something. No. But anyway, so healthcare after Cedric's illness, my son's name is Cedric, after his illness, healthcare has become very important to me.
Right. And that's how a lot of people are. There's a lot of people who are struggling, who got kicked off. Obamacare did do a lot to help those people. But I think it's interesting let's go back to your original statement. You said it doesn't really affect regular people unless they start messing with stuff. And to me, that's hilarious because the point of these lawmakers is to improve life in America and to make things function better and all of that. And you're saying the only way we feel it is whenever they do something to screw us over. Whenever they've done something to mess with us, that's whenever you notice that they're there. And that shows how dysfunctional this current system and this current political climate, how far we've come. It's not working anymore. It's dysfunctional.
I just think we have so many people in office that don't understand the struggles of everyday Americans. Just like those, what's crazy is, now, I don't know, is the minimum wage different in D.C. than we have in West Virginia? Do you?
I'm sure. Not federally, but they probably have their own minimum wage.
That's something to look up. So I would like to know, what is the minimum wage in D.C.? Because so isn't the salary like $174,000 a year, just kind of starting out in Congress?
Hold on, those are two questions. The minimum wage will progressively increase to $15 per hour on July 1st, 2020, then increasing each successive year starting in 2021 in proportion to the increase in the Consumer Price Index.
So it's $15 an hour in D.C.?
Hold on. Yeah, it's going to be, right. They're going to start next year increasing it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, no. I guess, but next year it's going to be $15 in 2020.
And that's in D.C.?
Yes. The fight for 15 wages on, and D.C. is winning it.
Let's see, what is that? That's 52. Okay, so that's 2,080 hours if you're working 40 hours. And at $15 an hour, that's $31,200. So if you make 50
And they start out at 174,000.
They start out at
Yep.
174,000. But most of them would fight a federal minimum wage of $15 an hour, where a person's only making $31,200. But they feel like they need at least 174,000 or more, because there have been, and they get per diems and things too. So it's not just that salary.
Right. And that's why I don't necessarily. You say that they don't know what it's like to be the average American. I say they just love their cushy lifestyle and they're not going to mess with it in any way. And the big money comes in to fund a lot of those campaigns. So you're going to do things for the big money. It makes sense. It's not necessarily some big conspiracy. I think we could end a lot of these problems of corruption, whatever you want to say about both parties, by just getting money out of politics. Boom. Just try as hard as you can to make it so that people can't get rich from their position. But it's like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and all of these people who go out here and they're making $500,000 speeches. Whatever, make that money. You write a book, good for you. But whenever you start trying to influence things, then I have a problem with it. Whenever you're a lobbyist, whenever you're coming out like Barack Obama does and says he has a problem with the woke culture on Twitter, that bothers me, that we went from yes, we can to hold up.
Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with the money.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying is that I think that we need to end like the lobbying and the money going into campaigns. I don't think that it's a problem for people to write books or to give speeches. That's great. They can make their money and they can make quite a lifestyle. I mean, Barack Obama has a wonderful house that he just bought worth, I think, $13 million. Whatever. That's great. Unless you're using that to influence people and influence our political system, like by buying politicians through campaigns and super PACs. That's the kind of money we really need out of there. How much dark money from overseas came into the Republican Party in 2016?
And another thing we have to realize when we're getting into this money issue and campaigns is that we also have to have spending caps. So when I ran for auditor in 2016, I am nowhere near wealthy, and I put a lot of money, of my own personal money in, just because, I wasn't known. So, and plus I'm not a great fundraiser, I can't.
You're a terrible fundraiser.
I am terrible.
Don't put it that way.
I don't like asking people for money. And I'm one of those people who have given to, I will give somebody money without them asking me when I see a need. So I expect the same to be done to me, which is, delusional, I guess.
But it's like I keep saying, you're a better person than most people. That's why I always say, don't think the best of people, think the worst of people.
But anyway, so if we don't cap the personal spending, like how much money you can put into your campaign also, we will still be in our same situation where the wealthy are getting elected to office, because the wealthy attract wealthy donors because they're wealthy. People like me,
Birds of a feather.
I am not attracting wealthy donors.
Look at Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer. They're both pouring so much money into advertising.
Yes,
that's their own money.
There needs to be a cap, but that's going to be the hardest. The only way we're going to get that passed is to get
how do you
enough
do it?
Average Joe people into office that understand the struggle of raising money, and that people should be forced to go out and talk to their constituents, because that's when because that's the way it used to be. It used to be you had a candidate. It wasn't about all this pouring of money. It was about having a candidate that went out and talked to people, and that people got energized, like the Bernie Sanders movement. People got energized and wanted to go out and fight for their person that, like you talk at 24/7, and while I'm dealing with real life issues here at the house with
because Bernie is the one,
and
he's
the
my favorite,
and the insurance companies. And
well, I get it. But I feel about Bernie Sanders the way I felt about Obama in 2008. I probably will be let down if he wins. Maybe. I don't know. Everyone lets you down. But it's like exciting. I want somebody who speaks that way to those powerful people. That's why I work for you.
Because I'm an equal opportunity BS caller outer.
Yes, yes. As am I. I believe fully that we
I'm
have
an
to hold
equal.
every elected official accountable to what we want.
Some people might disagree with that. But it's
That's
so
why I always call them. People don't take enough time to call their representatives. They don't like getting these calls. Somebody has to deal with them. Bother them. Complain. It's the only way you'll get anything done. That's how we got medical marijuana in West Virginia.
Do we have medical marijuana in West Virginia?
It's how we got medical marijuana legislation passed in West Virginia. How's that?
Because they're doing their damnedest to make sure it doesn't get to where people can actually get it.
Well, no, they wanted the optics of it without actually having to do it. And they've succeeded thus far.
I got into a conversation when I was at the pharmacy the other day. It started out with alcohol sales because the Rite Aids in West Virginia, has yours gotten converted to the Walgreens yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But Rite Aid always sold alcohol here in West Virginia. I guess because we don't really have ABC stores anymore. So you mainly.
Well, here's the funny thing about this, because I actually, for a brief period of time, looked into starting a liquor store in my town. I used to be a big drinker. I used to love to drink. So this was years ago, and I decided to look into it. And I started calling people and finding out. And it turns out that a lot of places have only one liquor license. So they're coming into small towns and they're taking the business from somebody else. I think it's a way they make a good bit of money.
Well,
selling hooch to hillbillies makes you quite a profit.
So I felt like we could use the same rules that we use for alcohol and cigarettes that are supposedly bad for you, but we keep selling it, for legalizing marijuana. I just said use the same rules. I mean, what's so hard about it? It doesn't make any sense because it's being sold, but what's happening is that the income that I am making, I am paying taxes on, while we have still allowed those who are selling marijuana, cannabis, to get a tax break, in a sense, because they are not paying taxes.
Well, listen, if we're going to jump into this, let's jump into this whole hog, because this is how I feel. This is a personal feeling, is that you have all of this tax revenue that could come in. Every state that's legalized it has hundreds of millions of dollars coming in tax revenue. To not do it doesn't make sense. Why are they fighting it so hard? I don't understand. Is there really still such a stigma on the cannabis that we can't have something like that? I've yet to see anything that says crime in these states where it's legal has gone up. I just keep seeing where they have better schools because of the tax dollars they're bringing in.
Because it's a product that is in demand that people are using. Just like they don't have any problem with the sale of pharmaceuticals that addict people. I mean, it's crazy. Whereas, I'm running this time for House of Delegates in the 35th District, as well as another gentleman that we met back in, was it 2016? No, it was after. We met Rusty.
17 or 18. 17 maybe.
Probably 17, because it was after we had started our Take a Stand.
Yeah, it was still on
Mary
Take
Ann.
a Stand with Mary Ann.
And he is a lobbyist, but an unpaid lobbyist for cannabis. And what got him motivated with this was from he had gotten cancer, and that's what he used to help him. But people would rather you be on something that the pharmaceutical industry made that has more side effects than something that's natural and works, that works.
Right. Well, that's where the influence of money comes in, because clearly that's pharma paying to lobby members of Congress. There's no other reason for people to oppose such legislation. It's even proven, I believe, that in states that have legalized marijuana for medical purposes, that opioid, and I guess recreational, that opioid addiction goes down. The opioid epidemic is helped a little bit by the marijuana because there is a good percentage of people who use the opioids for pain. There are a lot of people in pain, and that's how it starts. They need something for the pain.
Now, if you're against it, now I will respect your opinion if you're against it, if you're also willing to reverse legislation that allows the legal sale of alcohol and tobacco. I mean, you
no,
can't.
Not me. I would
I'm just
much.
saying,
No,
you can't.
don't you stop. No, no.
I mean, but
No.
I respect. I'm like Pat McGee.
I don't respect those people
a
at all.
person that sticks to their guns about all issues what they support. So you can't say I don't support legalization of marijuana, but I'm okay that we're selling alcohol and tobacco. I mean, it just doesn't go together.
That's very fair. As a politician, especially if you're looking at their voting records, I agree 100%.
Well, even as an individual. I mean, I don't know how you can say, oh, I'm okay with the sale of alcohol and tobacco, but I'm not for the sale of marijuana. I mean, it doesn't go together.
I will tell you from personal experience that alcohol and marijuana go fine together.
As well as most people, don't they? Most people who drink also smoke. I don't know. I mean, even cigarettes.
I don't think that used to be like a thing back in the day. I think the smoking thing is so unpopular now. Hardly anyone smokes cigarettes that I know.
Oh, I know people.
I think kids are mostly vaping.
I still know people that smoke cigarettes.
No one younger does it. No one younger.
Oh, maybe
than
the
me
younger
does it.
people don't do it.
No, it's always people my age and older.
Still smoke cigarettes.
I just said people my age
one.
still smoke, but the younger people
isn't my
don't.
son
that
is
I've
your
seen.
age? Or are you?
I know. I'm including my 30-year-old demographic.
Yeah, so
here.
he smokes cigarettes.
Yeah, that's the thing
Which
that's going away.
Which is
though.
crazy
It's
because
less.
no one else in our house smokes cigarettes.
Well, I mean, but cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes, but I don't smoke cigarettes anymore either. But they're a thing. They relax you. It's a drug in and of itself. The nicotine.
Oh well, maybe I need to smoke cigarettes.
Just get nicotine patches and put them all over you.
Look, then my insurance premiums would go up.
Well, yeah, because it's cigarettes are the worst thing out there, and we keep selling them. It's 2019. We know the statistics about how many people die from smoking, and we're still selling them. No, we don't. Clearly, we don't care. That's the biggest problem.
That goes back to what we've been talking about as far as representatives. They care more about getting reelected than about really doing what's best for the people that they are serving. I don't think they think of it as a position of service.
No, they think, oh my God, I'm a senator now. I'm going to make a ton of money.
Oh yes, I'm gonna make a ton of money and I'm gonna get all this prestige.
That's I think what most of them really want. I've never met a politician without ego.
It's prestige.
No offense to any of the politicians out there I've met, but as some people have told me, I don't care what West Virginia politicians think about me.
Who said that? I was like, who said? Oh, you don't care?
No, I don't care.
Well,
No.
apparently, it's the same thing as that. I've been accused of digging my heels in, but it's
If you
like
don't
it's the
stand for
same-
something, what are you doing?
Well, it's the same thing that people love me for, hate me for, if I'm not using it in the manner that they want it used. So, I mean,
right.
that's
It's like at the convention, whenever you gave that speech, you had everybody, it was probably the most riled up the crowd got at the 2016 state convention here in West Virginia was when you spoke. But because you aren't the mouthpiece of the party and you don't say exactly what they want you to say, they don't ever use you. They never used you once to get out there. Bernie uses Nina Turner as a surrogate for a great reason. One, she's a fabulous woman and a great supporter of his. But two, she's one of the most powerful speakers you could ever want. There's just something in her delivery. The same with you. You can get people riled up. And the problem is that you don't follow party lines. You don't say exactly what they want you to say, so they can't use you. But it's the same thing that makes you great.
If they knew how to talk to people, they could have used me. But they have their one mindset is that you do not cross Joe Manchin.
There's another thing. Let's kind of switch gears here into another big story of this week. Jeff Van Drew. You heard about this guy from New Jersey?
Yes.
So Jeff Van Drew was the Democratic congressman from New Jersey, and he switched parties to the GOP. In the primary in 2018, he was supported by the DCCC and all of the county executive committees in the district where he ran, in the primary over a black progressive woman. And now look what happened. The Democratic Party said, we got to put somebody in there that can win over Trump people, that does nothing to help push Democratic ideals. He's not pushing those policies. He's not pushing Democratic policies. But let's put him up there because we need a win, and we don't want somebody who's going to rock the boat too much, because that's what a lot of this is. It's the same reason they didn't want you in there. They didn't want somebody who was going to stand up and speak out against what they're trying to push. So they ended up getting this Van Drew guy, and look at him now. He's one of Trump's favorite people. I think he's even negotiating to officially switch at a Rose Garden ceremony. I don't even know. It's ridiculous, and we lose whenever we try to run in the middle and win over these Republicans. I don't understand. If we stand for these things that are popular with Americans, if we stand for propping people up and getting health care to everybody at any cost, full coverage.
What I don't understand is these people who decide to switch parties. I just don't see how, if you're really a Democrat, you would switch, and then the things that they get upset about, why would you switch to be a Republican? Why wouldn't you just switch to non-affiliation? Because
there was a Republican who did that.
Well,
he switched over to being an independent.
Well,
just recently.
Now that I can understand, because I have seriously contemplated switching parties just because I don't like what the leadership does. Not that I don't believe in what we say we're fighting for. It's just that didn't feel like that the leadership was supporting that fight. But I wouldn't switch to Republican, even though, I've been wooed. They can say they could guarantee, my getting elected to office. And, honestly, they probably would fight harder than the daggone establishment Democrats would. But anyway.
Would? You mean did?
But I'm not, they have too many policies that I disagree with, because you're not going to always agree 100% with a platform. I mean, not 100. But they've got too many that I just couldn't do.
Well, and it just goes to show you that how many people out there like Joe Manchin would be a better fit in the GOP. I think that those people should switch. I don't care about losing a Democrat if it's a Democrat like Joe Manchin.
Well, we
get
gotta
out of here.
have
You're holding us back.
We gotta have Joe so that we can have control of the Senate. That I don't know if we're ever going to get the way things.
I can't wait though, because the impeachment will do one thing: it will get all of the Democrats on the record, and I just want to see where Joe Manchin falls. I can only imagine.
I'm already going to tell you where he's falling. I'm already going to tell you. He's voting against it, even though he says he's up in the air. He's voting against it because of the polling in West Virginia, because we are Trump supporters. West Virginia is still one of the ones.
Well, let me just say, one of my favorite quotes about Joe Manchin, I'm not quoting directly, from Donald Trump, was that Joe Manchin's kind of weird, and he's always chasing him down and hugging him and weird stuff like that. I just love that the president thinks our senator is weird for trying to get in and get these optics of being a Trump supporter, because that's what he is. He's a Trump supporter. He's already said if Bernie gets the nomination, he's not voting for Bernie. Well, then who are you voting for, Joe? I think it's fairly clear what you're saying. And the Democrats, like Chuck Schumer, who came down here during the primary to boost Joe Manchin over Paula's swear engine, well, you are, and now Chuck Schumer's out there, talking impeachment, sounding all big and bad.
Well,
It's all these people are connected. It's the elite. It's the leadership. They don't think about us. It's all theater.
well, I believe we do need unity. I'll admit that, but they can't expect that we're going to have unity when you do nasty things in primaries. If the leadership can just stay out of the primaries, just offer the same support. This is, I've been preaching this since 16.
And this
Let's
isn't just
make
presidential.
sure. And
this is across the board.
They have evolved. And I don't want to say I want to take credit, but we did get a lot of attention from the way that they did treat me. And they have made some baby steps. But they still can't totally stay out of these primaries. But we'll see when the primary, because we really haven't gotten started yet. So we'll see what all happens once the races start getting heated up. Because, we're going to have this one with the governor's race. And,
Yeah, this is going to be
which is just crazy because we have our governor who was a Democrat that's in office now.
He pulled the Van Drew.
Yeah, that switched back to Republican because that's what he was before.
And we were shocked.
And what's so crazy about it is that the way his campaign was all, I'm not a politician, I'm not a politician, I'm not a politician. And then he got upset because I guess some of the Democrats wouldn't vote his way. I don't know if it was with the budget or what it was. So he's saying that's his reasoning for switching. But then when the Republicans this last session weren't really going his way, he didn't jump ship and decide to switch. But I would have thought he would have switched to independent. If you are truly not a politician and you get in there and then you say, oh, my goodness, I can't work with this bickering of parties, I'm just going to be an independent, I'm just going to be non-affiliated.
Listen, with Jim Justice, there was a very clear reason why he switched parties the way that he did. It was a big news story. It made national headlines. It was the first prominent switch like that to happen in a really long time. And it came 1 week after Trump killed a study into the effects of mountaintop removal mining. That would have been the ammunition that places like the Sierra Club, what those people need to take down and to stop mountaintop removal mining in court. And Trump killed that study, and a week later, there's Jim Justice at a Trump rally making national headlines as being the Democrat who switched parties.
Did you see where Joe Manchin is finally coming around about the mountaintop removal? Because that, to me, that was the real cold job killer.
It did. They say that you use 2/3 less workers at a mountaintop removal mining site per ton than you would use in a traditional mining.
Because
operation.
Even though I was endorsed in the general in 2016 by the United Mine Workers, I did on my questionnaire put that I was against mountaintop removal because I felt it was a job killer. Because you got to remember, I was raised.
It's a people killer as well. Don't forget that it is.
I was raised in a, the coal fields.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I mean, they're all around me. There's a coal portal right over the hill from my house.
That's how we were fed. My father was a coal miner. I just would like us to concentrate more on, I believe we need competition of industries, of course, but I would like us to concentrate more on people, the safety of the miners. I mean, as soon as the Republicans got in control down here, the first thing they did was cut back the regulations on mining safety. I mean, I just don't understand how you can sleep at night when you know you just did something that may get someone killed just for bucks.
I bet the sheets are really nice. Very comfortable.
They probably are. I mean, it's just craziness.
They probably have Egyptian
well,
cotton,
it's just
1,200 thread count.
We're sitting here fighting for the coal miners to be able to hold on to their pensions while these people go off and file bankruptcy. Now, I can see it. So if you file bankruptcy and you don't have any money left, but these people are filing bankruptcy and have millions of dollars. I don't get how you.
It's a trick, right? It's just a way for them to get more money. Look at people like Don Blankenship. He is one of the most despicable human beings on the planet. Coal barons, by and large, are not good people, Jim Justice.
And pumping that potable water into his house so that he has clean water while all of his neighbors around him's water is tainted.
Yep.
I mean, this is just crazy. But it's like people like that. They go and they file bankruptcy and they still have millions of dollars, and then you just screwed over the workers. This is like, if there's a war on anything, there is a war on workers right now.
Oh, yes. And a war on the homeless. Trump is trying to make homelessness criminal.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't understand this. Why can't we just try to... I'm all about, you know me, I love Bernie, but anybody who would support this, housing for all, tiny houses, whatever you've got to do. Let's build communities, and let's not let people be homeless in the supposedly greatest country in the world.
Now, do you think that they're going to support building tiny homes when they get upset about them setting up those tent
I don't think
cities?
they're going to. No.
I mean, to them, it would just be another tent city.
I tell you what, though, this is how you do it. You appeal to the rich people's senses. You say, if we put them in tiny houses, then you don't have to see homeless people anymore.
We'll put
and
them
there's
in
nothing
area.
that can ruin a rich person's day like seeing a homeless person.
We'll put them in an area that you don't care anything about. We'll just dump them right down where all the black people live. Where do they live?
That is what ends up happening. I mean, honestly, it's
we'll
not a
joke.
That's
together.
what they do.
We'll put them all together.
Or they send them, the city will round them up and give them that will buy you a bus ticket to anywhere you want to go.
Oh, yes, they did that in Charleston. Because, Charleston's is so wonderful. We had people just migrating to get here. Please. Well, we come, if I were homeless, West Virginia would not be the place that I would be trying to run to.
No.
At least maybe Florida where it's warm.
I was going to say California.
I mean, do I want to freeze here in West Virginia? It's funny how you can go, Mexico's doing, you can go there to get that stem cell research, stem cell therapy. In Russia, you can go to Russia. When I get my Russian money together.
Well, I've been shilling for Bernie Sanders in an attempt to split the DNC for Russia. They've been paying me.
Oh yes.
So we can use
Facebook.
my visa and get over there. Yeah.
Yes.
I get special treatment in Russia. Putin loves me.
They think you're a Russian troll because
they do. Everyone calls me one, and I'm just like, no, I just really like Bernie
Sanders. It's
so
funny. You even get that. Democrats say if you say something as a Democrat that other Democrats might not agree with, then you're a Russian troll.
Right, and that's so bothersome to me. It's the stupidest thing because, let's face it, the Russian troll farms, they were real, but don't think for a second that there aren't other bot troll farms run by Republicans and Democrats. They're just run from America. It's a thing that they do. It's nothing new. It's just that Russia did it.
It's called messaging.
I would dare say, yeah.
It's called messaging. This is the purpose of both parties, honestly, is to prove their point by throwing out their conspiracy theories.
Well, it's also the thing that they have all these accounts that aren't real people. Those are the bots. They're not real accounts. They're not real people. They're just there parroting whatever talking points they for whoever they work for. And that's the problem. And it's not exclusive to Russia. I think the bigger story with Russia is the fact that they hacked every state's election systems on Election Day 2016.
Now, see, I've never been silenced or sanctioned or whatever. Whatever happens to you people on Facebook that get
you just get a temporary block from doing things, yeah. I sometimes can't share a post because I've shared too many posts, I guess, but I run so many pages.
Is that, see, because I'm just trying to think that my other friend that recently got put in Facebook jail, I'm wondering, see, he's bad about posting things about Donald Trump and Christians is what he does a lot.
Well, those two things don't really go together, do they?
Well, I don't know if it's sharing. So that's why I was just I was wondering because I was told that when you do a lot of the sharing, because this one girl, she
Yeah,
got
yeah.
put in Facebook jail because she was sharing something that she wanted people to sign up. It was something religious, but she had invited too many people to.
Yeah, no, that's what happened to me the other day. I invited 2,000 of my friends I hadn't invited to like one of my pages, and that apparently was enough to get me blocked from inviting for quite a while.
Well, I guess because Mark Zuckerberg's over there having secret dinners at the White House.
With Trump, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not against him having dinner at the White House, but don't be all secretive about it like you.
Well, and let's face it, this is exactly the kind of thing that worries people is whenever they have so much data. They have huge amounts of data on everybody. That's where they were targeting. It's suspicious considering that the Russians and the Republicans used Facebook ads to target and to sow their discord. And then they have a meeting. I mean, it's very suspicious.
Very.
Is it criminal? No.
No.
But it's like, okay.
There's a lot of suspicious things that go on in our government.
I'm telling you, I honestly believe this. I say it all the time, and I don't mean this in a threatening way, non-violently, legally, as some people say. But I believe that if we don't do something to change the way our political system is working right now, it doesn't necessarily have to be we don't do things the way that we do them. We just have to actually do things that help people, and we have to stop giving. I don't know. It's dysfunctional. It's not working, and at some point, people are going to be so desperate that nothing you can do will stop the restlessness. I mean, there's going to end up being riots in the street, a real revolt against the system if the system doesn't do something to fix income inequality, to get people health care, to get people comfortable in their life and not stressed out. So many people, not necessarily living in poverty, but living paycheck to paycheck.
Sometimes
That's not good.
Sometimes I just wondering with this, because I just feel like this impeachment is going to.
Oh, it's backfiring already. Even Bernie's having trouble in polls against Donald Trump now. This is riling his base up like crazy. That's why I said they should have done it a year ago. But
well, they didn't have the information that they.
Well, when did the Mueller report
Ukraine
come out? 'Cause
thing
that
is
was
a lot worse. I just feel
No,
like
no. That's not true. The Mueller report had enough information in there that if they were Republicans and it was Bill Clinton in 1996 or whatever year, they would have went after it. But we said we're going to go to the polls and we're going to beat Trump the right way.
And
And then they waited till closer to the election and did it. Like, come on, guys. It's just
they would have impeached
don't
him.
do it or do it. They did it the wrong way as far as I'm concerned.
They would have.
I think it might hurt us.
They would have impeached Obama for sure.
Yeah, 100%. If there was even a one thing they could have said he did illegally or that was unconstitutional, they would have went for it. But
yeah,
Obama, as much as he's very smart. I mean, he didn't do the things I wanted him to do, but he's not well, maybe a war criminal, but he's not a criminal.
Aren't all
criminal.
presidents war criminals?
That's what I was going to say. I don't think that there aren't any. Right?
Do we have any?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Though Dick Cheney was the worst as far as president.
Well, I guess Trump's not a war criminal.
He's war criminal. He dropped that
What did he
that
do?
Moab bomb right after he got in.
I
he's
forgot.
still doing the drone
So
strikes.
much goes on. I cannot keep up with. I mean, he has something going on every daggone week. Is there anything that didn't go on every week?
No, he is one of the most amazing things to watch. I think when we look back at this time, it's going to be very like that was a wild ride. That Trump presidency was crazy, but we're living it right now, and it doesn't feel as crazy. It's just like, yeah, that's Trump. That's Trump.
He's duck feathers. That's why I tell people, stop getting all excited about this, because nothing's going to happen. He's going to stay in office, and do you really want Mike Pence? Do you?
No, I don't. But I would love to see
At least with the Trump chaos, he hasn't been able to do anything. I mean, he's doing things, but he could do a lot more if there wasn't so much chaos going on.
that he could, if he had the Republican, I mean, if he wasn't so dirty and corrupt, he might be able to be more effective. But they have not lost. We've kept pressure on him. There's been a lot of pressure on him, and he still managed to do a lot. We've got children locked in cages. He's gone to North Korea. It's craziness. It's one of the craziest things I've seen in the presidency in my lifetime.
But
sure.
those are all things that will be able to can easily be reversed. Legislation is, that's hard to get reversed when the legislation that goes through. So they really legislatively haven't been able to accomplish a lot of the hateful things that they, have wanted to do.
I believe that's because most Republicans aren't as bad as their rhetoric. They go out there and they rile up these people and say kind of coded racist things. And Donald Trump is one who really believes it. And maybe he may just be using it too, but he pushes these things.
I think he uses
and I don't think
stuff
the Republicans
he figured out
and the Republicans
people
can't do it. Right, the Republicans can't write legislation that's that horrible. It's the same reason they didn't take away Obamacare. Obamacare was basically their plan. But they went out and rallied against it and told people we're going to repeal and replace. But they couldn't get that done because it's the perfect system for them. It's what they wanted. What are they going to replace it with?
Because that's the same thing I said. Because the John McCain thing. John McCain was a maverick, and they knew we can count on John to make sure that this thing doesn't get repealed. Because what are we going to do? We're going to be known as the party that threw, millions off of health care.
Right, because they know how that vote's going to go before they ever call it.
They already know. They don't even take this stuff to the floor. Usually they won't even take it to the floor if they know they're going to lose. But in this instance, they really wanted to lose, but they had to keep their campaign promises. Well, I tried. We put it out there.
Yep.
If it wasn't
it's
for
so
John McCain
much.
And the Democrats.
It's insanity.
It is. It's insanity. It's this craziness.
That's what it's like being black and blue.
Yes, it is. I mean, because honestly, I know you you kind of put out there in the narrative, about my being, black and also a Democrat, and you're being, what do they call you with your mixed race?
They call me Navajo. I'm
not,
3/4 white. I'm 3/4 white. I just said it.
You are what you want to be to what
it's very convenient.
Yes.
When the police pull me over, I'm very white. I am German.
A race of convenience. So when you want to be in the minority and talking about minority issues, then you're Navajo.
Do that.
But
only with white people. I don't do it with I don't do it with people who are more minority than me. That's not right. Only with pure white people do I say, listen, you get in your place, white person. Because that's one of the favorite things for white liberals, but I got an excuse.
But my thoughts when we came up with the name, when we were brainstorming about the name of our new show, was how, my gosh, we're getting beat up. We are literally black and blue in America, in red America. I mean, we are being attacked at every angle.
We're that's why we're targeting everybody across the nation. This isn't just being about in red America, in red states. This is about living in Trump country, living in a place where the GOP tells lies. So, yeah, it is about being black and blue, being beat up. And how do we get this system fixed? It's all a thing. It was a beautiful name. And if you tell Alexa to play black and blue in red America, she brings us up. So everybody, keep listening. Find us, subscribe to us, get us on Facebook. Facebook.com/blackbluepod.
So share it with your friends so that they can find out what it's about.
Tell them what it means to be black and blue in red America.
And hopefully we will be able to survive being black and blue from the bruises, and maybe we'll be able to put a little salve on, and it'll restore us back to.
Yes, maybe there's some medical marijuana to fix this.
Maybe it's medical marijuana, or what's that other stuff that I use? Well, I use the peppermint oil, but I know the Max Freeze stuff. Remember whenever I'm having my aches and pains?
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
So we might be able to get us some good stuff to be able to overcome this being black and blue and red America.
Give us the good stuff, Doc.
Give us some good stuff. So for this next election coming up.
That about wraps it up for us this week.
Okay, try to stay warm if you're in a cold place, and stay cool if you're in a hot place, and try to protect your body from all of this beating up we're getting.
That's right. Protect your head.
Protect your head. Protect your head at all costs.
That's right. We'll see you next week, everybody.
See you next week.